DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
You're tuned in to DJNTV Live with your host, Brian S. Red.
All right, we are back for show number 2 on Tuesday night. We are going to be talking about all sorts of things. These are the things that when you were a little kid and Grandma would bring you over by the fireplace as she was making popcorn and the little thing, and she said, someday there's going to be something important and you need to pay attention. This is that night.
Okay, I'll believe you.
Okay.
I trust you on that one. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, we are back after a couple of weeks of chaos and craziness. And
that's right. We haven't done this together in a while. I've been doing these other things.
Yeah, we had the week of Brian Red. And then,
we had the week of Brian Red, and then we had the talks, the marathon, whatever we called those things. Those are interesting.
Most of the hangouts were supposed to be in 45 minutes, and then there was this one that went 3 hours long.
I'm looking down here, and I'm like, okay, some people tried to hang. Who is this cat here? MJ tried to hang. He went 2:21. Pussy. I went 3 hours.
Yeah, MJ
and I had a full room and closed it.
Oh, yeah. I was actually in the room the night that MJ and the guys were doing that. And I got tired and I had to go do. So I left at about an hour after we started, and they still went another hour and a half, and the room just continued to grow. And I messaged them. It's like, okay, how did the show go? We're still going. And Jimmy messages, there's like 100 people in here. It's like, what?
Yeah.
As soon as I left,
they went well. It was fun. We had a good time. The evening with Jay Brannon, Pastor Jay, was interesting. It's always interesting when you have Jay. It's kind of like an evening with Richard Cheese, where he starts to show off and he's singing, and then as the show goes on, he keeps drinking, and by the end of the show, he's drunk, and he's still singing and being inappropriate. That's exactly what happened. We kept pretty good check on him, so it was fun. Jay had fun too.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. A lot of people had commented they enjoyed the show.
Do that more.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So yes, we'll be coming back with more of the hangouts and such. We're just trying to still evaluate a little bit about what happened with those 2 weeks of live shows and such. In January right now, what we have scheduled is after NAMM, the week after NAMM. So let me just I'll give you this schedule. That the week of January 29th, that's the week we're going to be doing, kind of focusing our hangouts in the month of January. So we'll give you more information as we get closer, but we're kind of penciling in the week after NAMM, where we'll do some hangouts, and some of the topics, of course, will be discussing what happens and what we saw at NAMM, because there will be a lot of interesting things.
I might not be home yet.
Oh, you're going to still be in California.
Might be.
Yeah. Well, we can do a show from there.
Might have to just take some. Well, either that or I'll take some time off. One or the other. We'll see what happens. We'll figure. I know you don't want to do that. I'm your rock star.
But for sure, they don't want to. They don't tune in to see me.
No.
They want to hear what kind of important things are coming out of the dungeon.
Yeah, real important stuff's happening.
Important stuff. So tonight we're going to talk about reviews, and we're going to hit into that. But before we get into that topic, I wanted to, Brian, did you get a chance to check out the new floor plan for NAMM?
No, I have not. I've heard all about it.
Oh.
I've seen it being built, but I haven't seen the new floor plan.
Yeah, that's an interesting. So it looks like the auditorium or the arena area. It looks like they're not even doing much of anything. Maybe that's going to be kind of the food court, whatever.
Wow.
But there's going to be that catwalk that'll go kind of off. Instead of going into the auditorium, we'd be going or arena going off to the right, and that'll take us over the road, and that will take us over to another building, which is where a lot of the companies are going to be. And probably the most excitement I've seen so far, or what I get the most excited about, is JBL will finally be out of that little crappy hole in a wall room that they've been in forever. And the reason why I don't like it is because it's so crowded in there. Because everybody wants to check out the new JBL and the different companies that are under the Harman the name.
Yeah.
That you can't do anything. Brian and I are there to shoot video and talk about products. Well, when I've got somebody with an elbow in my nose and I've got somebody's butt in my face as I'm down, that kind of a thing, it's like, yeah. So
that room does have a special place in my heart, though.
How so?
I met Quincy Jones in that room.
See, I don't meet anybody famous.
And we talked about how terrible radio was for like 15 minutes. That was the conversation he wanted to have with me. And we had it. After he asked me what I do and tell me about yourself and tell me about what you do. And, oh, that's really interesting. Hey, let's talk about how shitty music is today. Okay, let's do that. So we did that for about 15 minutes. It was pretty neat. So
okay, let's go to that topic now, because that was part of my day today. I spent today working with the ADJ Pocket Pros, having some fun with those. I wanted to basically do it, and you guys will see the video doing a test on those. So I'm listening to Spotify, basically the top songs. They've got the different playlists, and here's the hottest songs. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to what comes from promo only, the videos from promo only, where they've been cleaned up. Yeah. You mentioned how crappy music and such is, and I'm listening to it. It's like, oh my gosh, some of these songs that I play at schools, I wasn't even aware of what some of the songs were that have been bleeped out and such. It's like, holy schmaholies.
Yeah. That's a thing.
It is. And again, because of listening to a little bit of terrestrial radio around here, they've got edited versions. But yeah, you go to Spotify or the things where these kids, our high school dance audience is where they're listening to. Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
Well, it's a marketing thing, and it always has been.
Yeah.
But it's really, I guess, more in your face now. It's less tongue in cheek and more direct.
Very much so, yeah. And I think that shock and awe that they're trying to, that the teenagers can be shocking by listening to this music. We were like that too.
They're hearing these words for the first time, or not maybe for the first time, but they're 14 years old and they get very excited about words that are taboo, or subjects that are taboo, or things they're not supposed to say. If they hear these things, they get excited about it, and they tend to buy things off of iTunes or whatever when they hear those words.
Yeah.
So it's a marketing thing. It's all bullshit marketing. But yeah, I mean, it's there. It's nothing new. But what are you going to do?
Well, and I look back at when we were growing up and such, we had some pretty risque songs also, because, we had I'll Tumble For You.
Look, this goes back to Cole Porter, who was a songwriter in the 1920s. He's the one who pretty much did all the music for Sinatra. So we're talking about birds do it, bees do it, let's fall in love. What do you think that was about? Good golly, Miss Molly, sure like the ball. What do you think that was about? YMCA by the Village People. That's a gay hookup song. This is nothing new.
You're crushing my...
The difference now, between now and then, the only difference is in its delivery, where it's less tongue-in-cheek and more in your face. So, but it's no different. It's really no different. And the thing that I've been arguing with people about, I think in the last week or two, has been how I have decided that I am not going to be the moral cop. Mm-hmm. I talked about this on the chat last week.
If you mentioned this a few times.
I can't do that, because where do you draw the line? Because it becomes a matter of taste after a while. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of, is it risque as subject matter? It's a matter of, how is it delivered? And then I am trying to be this person who's taken this moral high ground and decided that the song's okay, but that song's not. That's not my job. In the United States, the FCC steps in and they decide what is and is not appropriate to play over the airwaves. I'm not a fan of the FCC. I don't think that they do a brilliant job with anything, really. They've screwed a lot of things up. But because they are the authority of this, I'm going to take their cues when it comes to playing these songs. Unless, of course, I'm not going to go into an elementary school and play Cardi B, Bodak Yellow. I'm not going to do it because I draw the line there. But when I'm playing to adults or even young adults, what are you going to do? They're not hearing it from me for the first time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they're not hearing these words for the first time in these songs, even if they're not there, but they trigger, oh yeah, he says this here, but they beeped it out and we're going to sing it another way. I don't know. I can't do it. I cannot be the moral cop on this stuff. I didn't write this stuff. I didn't make it popular. I didn't give a DJ money to play it. As far as, on the radio, I'm not a tastemaker at my events. This is not what I get hired to do. I get hired to play songs that will motivate people to dance. And I don't get paid to dictate taste to anyone. I wish I did. That would be a cool job where I was the tastemaker and I decided what people listen to and don't listen to. But seeing how that isn't in my job description as a mobile DJ, I don't feel, then what are you going to do?
Yeah. And unfortunately, as they're referring to them in the chat room as some of these garbage rappers, as I'm talking to my 15-year-old son, who's actually going to be doing I believe a school dance here in March. So he's been practicing on the 8,000 and he's been doing a lot of cool things with that. But he's talking about a lot of the more of an urban track, more urban tracks and such that I don't play. Granted, he's going to be using the clean edits of these things.
Sure.
But he's playing songs that are either too slow because I'm still looking for something 110 BPM or higher, and I want to have something that's going to keep people on the dance floor. Da 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 da.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, though that's not the way they don't respond to that stuff like.
Well, it's like it's funny because what people like and what people will respond well to when it comes to a dance floor are often two very different things.
Yeah, that's the part I'm trying to wanted to get that across to him that there are. We'll find out when it comes.
It's a trial by fire on that one,
really
John. You can talk until you're blue in the face. He's just gonna have to find out for himself.
I think so. I really do, and it will be one of those things.
The best thing you can suggest is to say, hey, you know what? I totally see where you're going here, but you need to have Darude Sandstorm ready to go and some Pitbull and some Flow Rider ready to go, and maybe a Getta track or two. Just have them ready. I know you're not going to play them, but just have them there.
Yeah, you never know.
Humor me. I'm going to give you a folder with these tracks and know them, and just in case, because that's exactly what's going to happen.
What's going to happen? Unfortunately, it'll be like, the dance floor, no one's dancing. Well, it's because.
Well, yeah, but they love this song. Well, yeah, but they can't dance to it.
Yeah, you've got to get them. You can drop one of those in occasionally at points in time, but not
right. And that makes it exciting when you do.
Yeah,
that's my whole Bodak Yellow thing. That's why I love dropping that track, because I keep my energy level relatively high, and then it's like, okay, here's a big request. And it's like, boom. And everyone who wanted that track is on the floor. They're getting it out of their system, and I can jump into something else.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole floor isn't packed. Why? Well, geez, I don't know. If you gave somebody 2-3 hours of that, they would probably leave.
Yeah, for sure. Or, they're 15 years old, and they're not really going to dance anyway. They're going to just stand around and rap along with it. Okay.
With their boys.
Yeah, with the boys. Yeah.
Call me macho, but,
we don't dance. We just stand.
We're supposed to go to dances to talk to the girls.
Yeah. We got to work on that one, too. Boys over here, girls over there. It's like, really? Come on, this isn't junior high anymore.
Yeah.
You can mingle. Okay, well, we're going to get into tonight's topic here. We just had a few things that were kind of, things, I want to try to chat.
We have ADHD.
And we did. We actually had some good conversations, so bear with us. And if you're really bothered by that, this is probably not the show for you to watch anyway. We don't stay on topic that well.
No.
So when I threw out the idea to Brian earlier, talking about if reviews are still a thing, and he's like, hey, that's a great idea. And he went one direction and I went the other with this. And then when he mentioned his direction, and then it's like, hey, that's a really good idea. So we're going to look at this from two different directions. And we're going to start off looking at it on the gear review side, I think is the way we'll begin.
That's how I interpreted it, because that's what I'm thinking about.
Yep. And I think that's a great, because there's different, little different things, different components of that I want to touch on. First off, I had this question come again from a person who has a YouTube channel, and they've got like 3 subscribers, and their question immediately was, how can I get manufacturers to send me gear for doing reviews? I mean, you've had that one a million times. I've had that one, a million times. First off, I just don't comprehend why someone who doesn't have any kind of a following, and I don't want to belittle anyone who's you don't have a following. What do you think that you can offer a manufacturer that would make them say, oh yes, I'm going to spend, $200, $300, $400 of our own money to send the gear out and get it there, and for what? Right.
And that's what, you got to say to these people. I mean, they get, and they're looking at it like free stuff, Like,
yeah.
Is it free? I don't feel like people are just giving me gifts here. I'm working hard for this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I do. This is,
today is a
job.
Today's a prime example. I mean, there's the Pocket Pros. It was to go, de-unbox, not a big deal, and then to get them set up, and then to go through and figure out, okay, looking and studying the different the DMX capabilities and what I wanted to do, how I wanted to set those up. Okay, so now I know I wanted to be this channel. Then I've got to go and set up my DMX control, because you guys know I use the iPad and the DMX bridge. So I have to go and get it set up with that, then work on, shows and putting that, and so I can incorporate, so I can tell you guys all about how difficult or easy these things are to set up, and then once they're running, how reliable they are in running after, the number of hours, and what I noticed with that. So, in some ways, I probably, granted, I while they were running, I left today, but I still have probably 3 or 4 hours in so far today, and that hasn't gotten anything to YouTube yet.
My experience with videos like that is what happens is I'll really have to learn more about the fixture that I want to learn about it, because typically I know what I need to know about it and I can just set up and go, but I can't do that. I got to learn more about it. And not only do I do a video on it, but then I got to answer the question on how to do a horizontal mount on it and do a video on that. And then I got to do a video on how to master slave them. Then I got to do a video on how to DMX them. Then I got to do a video going through the entire menu. Then I got to do a video on how to get around the remote control issue with the IR. It goes on and on and on. It never ends. So you're answering questions constantly either in the video or the instant message. And then you're, it's not what you think it is. But regardless, let's say that you're in love with that idea. You want to do this. It's quite simple. Get an audience.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, if you get a big enough audience, you don't have to contact a gear or equipment manufacturer or distributor. Contact you.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it. And do you think I call up companies and say, hey, I'm Brian, send me stuff? It doesn't work that way. They see me, they recognize value in it, and that's it,
Going back, Tim mentioned something about he wished that reviews basically would end with I like this one, or I like this one, or this is my favorite, especially in comparison videos.
It's funny with and Bar just said something in here about reviews are bullshit.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. Bar reviews are bullshit. There are a lot of people out there who say, "Hey, check out my review on this light that Chauvet gave me." Like, what do you think you're going to say about a light that Chauvet gave you? You're going to say nothing but things about it because you want Chauvet to give you more lights.
Yep.
So my workaround for that is I just demo stuff. This is the thing you've been asking about. Here it is. This is what it looks like. This is what it does. Here's how I might use it, but I don't really review it. I just kind of do a demo. And people will say, well, how do we know if you like it or not? Well, if it's on my channel, I like it. I'm not going to show you anything that's shitty. And people catch on, and you do a pretty good job of that. So that's how I approach it. Testimonials are important. You're going to get the really solid testimonials out there from somebody who perhaps bought a product, they just bought it and they're using it and they're going to tell you about it. That's a good testimonial video. And you might get a review from that. But on the other hand, the review that you get from that might be a bit biased too, because I have found, John, and you tell me if you follow me on this or if you've kind of gotten the same vibe, people tend to defend their purchases.
Oh yeah. Yes, I would definitely agree.
So if I went out and I bought a brand new Ford F-150, I would tell you how amazing it was and all the great things about it. But I might not tell you how I missed the thing from my Chevy Silverado that I traded in. I might not tell you that because I'm defending my choice that I made of the Ford F-150.
For sure. I think you definitely...
I see it with speakers all the time.
Oh, yeah.
People are telling me how amazing their Mackie Thumps are. And I'm like, God, really? They sound awesome? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Mackie Thumps is a bad speaker. I'm just saying you're overselling it here. I understand that's what you bought, but is it amazing? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's amazing is a hard sell. Taking a little too far on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely.
In that regard, there are a lot of folks out there who do reviews. Take them with a grain of salt. Take what I do with a grain of salt too. I might give an opinion on something when I'm doing a video. I may do that, but they're my opinions. I mean, I don't expect everybody to feel the same way I do about things. Also, in the videos, I think a lot of people feel like that. Let's say that they bought, for instance, just to throw some stuff out there that we know. Let's say somebody bought some Inno Pocket Spots and they use them and they really like them.
Yeah.
Then I come out and I do a video on the Pocket Pro. I think a lot of people think that I'm suggesting that they dump their Inno Pocket Spots and buy the Pocket Pro. No. No, of course not. Use what works for you. This video exists solely for the purpose of anyone who's interested in the Pocket Pro. This video does not exist in my world or in my brain or with my intent for you to dump what you have and go with this instead. I think there's a misconception there sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely, especially when it comes to speakers, is
yes,
we do the EKX, and then I got the ETX in, and then I had people, oh, should I dump that? And then, we've had the RCF in here, the RCF 12, and oh, should I dump that and go with that? And it's like each has its good and its bad, and some people love one brand or another. I never really thought that there was such a difference in sound from speaker to speaker, because when you are hearing them, it's like you go to the QSE room, oh, those sound nice. You go to the Yamaha booth, oh, that sounds nice. We go to the EV room, oh, those sound nice. But when you put them side by side, you can hear the difference in what was the voicing, the way the speakers are voiced so differently when you run them flat, that it really becomes I know people who love the JBL sound. JBL has I could almost say, you could almost blindfold many guys who do multiple speakers, they could probably pick the JBLs out of a room.
You know what's odd about that, though, and you mentioned that, and I was talking to you about this in private a while back. We never really did a show on it or anything else. I think it's really odd when people do these speaker tests where it's like, okay, the EQ's flat, now make a judgment call on it. Who the hell runs a flat EQ? Nobody who knows anything about sound ever runs a completely flat EQ. You adjust the EQ. And you take submit out of you. Equalization, and this is just the way I look at it, isn't about boost. It's about cut. So you start with a flat signal, and then like if you need a little less bass, you cut the bass. If you need a little less, let's say that you feel like the bass is lacking, maybe what you want to do is cut some high and mid, but not boost the bass.
Right.
To even it out. That's just kind of my general mix rule. I don't boost, I cut. But anyway, every speaker you got to kind of tune a little different,
Oh, very much
especially
so.
when we're talking about pre-recorded music. So this notion that a flat EQ is going to be the know-all tell-all of whether a speaker sounds good or not, I think is bullshit. You got to do something. You got to adjust the sound a little bit. Now, once you adjust the sound to your liking, are you getting the sound that you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know you have a good speaker.
At the sound pressure that you're wanting, I think is probably the biggest part, because I can go and I can take, I had American Audio CPX speakers, and I could set them at a volume, and they sounded absolutely fabulous. Will I be able to get the sound pressure out of that I can from a different, my EVs? No, they just won't do it. They're not designed for that. I mean, even some of the ELS, some of those sounded really, really good, surprisingly good for their price point. But
these guys are talking about boosting their EQs, and I'm sorry, I'm just not with you on that. That's not what they're for. If you've got to do big EQ boosts on things, you're running the wrong equipment. Typically, you're doing a cut, not. If you watch some stuff on this, do some tutorial stuff on there. I'm not crazy. This is how sound guys do it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do a lot of boost. Once in a while, you have to do some boost. Don't get me wrong. And I'm sorry, I'm going off on something different here. But like, there are songs, like the one that comes to mind is Aretha Franklin's Respect. The recording on that is piss poor. I mean, a lot of that old Motown stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do give that a bass boost because it has none.
Yeah.
And you give it a huge mid cut because it's got all mid. It's like the song was recorded out of a police bullhorn.
Yes.
It just sounds awful. So in a case like that, yeah, you can do some boost because you need it on that one track. That one. But the rest of the time, I do believe it's about running an EQ, starting in a flat position, and cutting when you need to.
And that was actually something, because we were doing the different comparisons and things, and that was one of the areas in which Jeremy and I were talking, is that we can, with pretty much any two speakers, with a little bit of tweaking and separate EQing, we can make almost any of the speakers at a volume level sound identical. Pretty much. It's obviously when you get into higher volumes is where one will leave the other, but
which is where it counts.
Yeah,
for us.
But it's interesting that a person can take, okay, this cabinet needs a little bit more in the mids, maybe a little bit taken off here, so we pull these down, whatever. This one is okay, it doesn't have the bass, so we pull the tops down and we can adjust. This one I have to push a little harder. This one not so much. Whatever. It's kind of like cooking. It's that little seasoning. We have to, we got to do a little here, do a little there, and that's in my back area which is now curtains and foam walls. That's in the back of my truck. So it's a different world than.
And I've seen some people in the room. They like the red lights all the way up to the top, and God bless you. You guys do what you got to do. This old fart likes sound quality, and if I have a system that I've put together and I need more gain out of it than I get with 0 dB, and even with a little bit of cut, here and there on my EQ, if I need more boost than that, guess what? I need a bigger speaker system.
Yep.
I need to exponentially increase my speakers that I already have. And you have to do exponential increases on there for a loudness boost, because you only get loudness boost with a 3 dB gain. And to achieve a 3 dB gain, you need to double a signal. So if I have 2 speakers and they're not loud enough, I need to add 2 more, making 4 speakers.
Yep.
If I have 4 speakers and they're not loud enough, would I put 6 speakers on a system? No, it's not going to help, because I need that exponential growth, the double, the 3 dB gain. So I have to add 4 speakers, making 8 speakers. If 8 speakers aren't enough, I have to add 16. Anything less than 16 won't help me. If 16 isn't enough, I have to add 32. 30 is not going to help me. 32 is only going to help me. I know more about this than I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no Ben Stowe. But I can tell you these things. If you need more boost, you need more power.
Precisely.
And you're not going to achieve that just by slamming your mixing board up. All you're going to do is distort your signal. That's all you're going to do.
Yeah, for sure. And then we see that the number of people, hey, how come my
and by the way, Bar, if you're deaf now, please be careful with this. I am 46 years old. I've been in DJ booths since I was 13 years old. I can still hear pretty well because I haven't abused my EQ. I haven't abused my ears. I've been careful with this, and I've been mindful of what other people are hearing as well in my audience. Please be careful with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to add to that, at your age bar, and then, we got Rick in here and Brandon, the younger guys, go invest. I don't have my custom earplugs in here. I use cheaper ones in the office, but I've got some custom ones that I had made that take those frequencies down, but you let you hear the vocal range so you can hear people talk to you. I think I spent the last pair I bought were about $300 to get some custom fit ones. Well worth it, because I can wear those at an event and they're discreet, and I can still hear high school girls talking to me, which generally junior high girls are incredibly tough to hear for me.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear them yet, and at the end of the night, I don't have that ringing in my ears. So,
yeah, I just use good headphones, and I just am very mindful of that mid-cut. I've done videos on it before, and the folks that I have turned this concept onto, and they've tried it, they've been amazed because they're getting a nice low and high boost, but they're not getting people complaining about the loudness, because the pain threshold typically is within that mid-range, I've found. And when people are telling you at events it's too loud or turn it down, it's because you're probably throwing too much mid on them through the horn on your system. If you do a little bit of a cut on that, it does help. But what I was going to say before I even went off on that tangent, just quickly, and I'll stop. I've done a lot of festivals and state fairs and things of that nature, and I've worked with a lot of bands. In fact, I just did it on New Year's Eve. Now, the scariest thing in the world to me when I go onto a stage is when I see a sound guy with gray hair, because that dude is deaf. He's been deaf for 20 years, and this guy's going to tune the system.
Yeah.
So what I do, and this is evil, but what I do is I indeed do boost my EQ while he's tuning my system. I boost the hell out of it. And then he tunes it to what he thinks sounds good.
Sure. When
he goes away, I can do my cuts and it sounds fine. But I know for a fact that dude's already deaf.
Yeah.
Because, and the scary part about it is he's tuning for audiences.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all sound guys should retire at 32 years old. They're done. They should have to go do something else at 32.
Great.
Regardless.
Ben Stowe's career's over.
Well, Ben understands how to do this right.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys don't. And the proof is in the room. They're boosting the hell out of it.
I remember Lori and I were at an event where there was a professional sound crew there, older guys, and they were so incredibly loud, way louder than they needed to be for the application. And I had mentioned to him, it's like, geez, guys, that's a little bit more than this room needs. But, oh, it's not that loud. I didn't have any kind of a dB meter or anything to that effect, but it's like, oh, this is like painfully loud. When I'm testing speakers and I'm pushing at 115 dB, standing in front of a speaker loud, and I'm 20 feet back from the stage, so.
Yeah. No, it's take care of yours, guys.
Yeah.
Don't be the 45-year-old Dave the sound guy. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be him.
Definitely not as the DJ.
So to wrap up, Tim, of course, threw the title up there again. Reviews, when it comes to reviews for gear, you got to really take them for a grain, as a grain of salt, because there's so many different people out there who are putting up information, whether it's good, bad, it's tainted. I mean, there's some, we never like to say bad things about gear because you don't want to hurt feelings, and you don't like to. This is a smaller industry than a lot of people would like to lead on.
Yeah, very small.
And I don't want to step on toes. When I'm doing a video and you hear me talking about, and it would be really good for when you're sitting at the pool and the speaker's right here and you're able to listen to it, that's a great application for it. If I'm saying things like that, that's because it's not meant for other applications.
God, I do that all the time.
Yeah, there's
ways. I think it'd be great for a barbecue.
Yeah, and you'll pick up, as you've watched Brian's videos and my videos, you'll pick up that we have some similar nuances like that all of a sudden, yes, if you are opening an envelope on Tuesday mornings and you need a little music next to you at your desk, this is a great application. Yeah, that means that it's probably going to go out, and if you start pushing it too hard, it's going to blow up and start on fire and burn the house down.
Yeah.
So, reviews that way.
Yeah, demos. Review
Demo.
is almost a bad word in my lexicon anymore. It's because I've seen it done so. What word am I looking for? Just I want to say ham, like ham, like just it's like car salesman stuff. It was like you can smell a lie like a fart in a car when these guys were talking. He was laying it
Yeah.
on so thick. So I'm really trying to just give you guys good demos. That's
Yeah.
all I'm trying to do. Yeah, you can call me Bryn now. It's
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say. I thought I sent a message to have that fixed, and they fixed one, and they didn't fix the other spot.
those bastards. It's okay. Somebody, I was headlining, or not wasn't headlining, but well, I was. I was playing with a band on New Year's, and the flyers said Brain S Red,
Yeah.
and then the description of me on one of the the poster said Brain S Red, and the flyer said Brian and then S Red. So you're not the first.
Yeah.
And you know what sucks about Brian and Brain? Spell check isn't going to pick that up because brain's a word.
Yeah, there's my issue is that it's a word, and also if I do mistype it, it goes to Brain instead of Brian. It's like, oh, thanks for that. You're such a nice, helpful thing.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
Okay, so the last section here. What I want to, we're going to stick in the review area, but now I want to turn this around a little bit and talk about the way reviews are being used in the wedding specific world, because
Customer review.
customers' reviews. I mean, right now, everyone and their cousin is winning a Wedding Wire award. I do believe my golden retriever, she won one earlier today. So everyone's winning it, all based on whatever you say. I don't know, whatever it takes. Yeah. So it's there's this whole thing going on, and there's this push among DJs that they're like, oh my gosh, I got to get as many reviews on Wedding Wire, and I need to get as many reviews on the Notch or wherever as possible. And my question, Brian, is, do you think people really give a rat's hiney? Consumers care that you've got 7,000 good reviews on Wedding Wire anymore?
Man, some people will believe anything. I learned that a long time ago. It never ceases to amaze me what people will really believe. But a thinking person isn't going to think twice about this because they know how things go.
There's the thing is, somebody mentioned earlier, and I don't remember who, I saw the post. They had said that they had a Yelp review that came through, and it was a Yelp review that was basically disparaging their company. Well, that person that did the Yelp review didn't do business with them. So it was just, and we've heard this coming where people have done reviews, and other DJs have done reviews of other DJs, and they have not done any business with them whatsoever. So then he starts to dig into it, and it's like, okay, well, what can I do? Well, Yelp has this pay-for service that you can help. Or he said he got the review, and then like a little while later, he got an email saying, well, if you've got some bad reviews, let us help you clean up your online presence and such. There's so much of this crap going on out there that anyone who knows reviews and such is catching up and saying, you can't put as much weight into reviews, I think, as you probably could at a time in the past.
Yeah. The part that I feel bad. I really feel bad because I look at my Facebook newsfeed, and today, all of a sudden, Wedding Wire must have released
all those awards. Yeah,
I believe they call it Couples Choice now.
I don't remember what it was.
Bride's Choice was way too gender specific, so they've changed it to Couples Choice, which almost sounds like what you'd say as a DJ to skating rink. It is couple skate, Couples Choice, but no, the Academy Award-winning speeches they're giving because they've received this award that everybody knows is bullshit. Well, everybody got one.
It's
kind of like if you played T-ball and your team lost every game they played, but at the end of the season, everybody got a trophy. That's exactly what this award is. I'm sorry, because I know some of you really genuinely believe you won something, but you won nothing. And hopefully your clients don't know that. Hopefully your clients look at this and say, cool, Bride's Choice. Or, I'm sorry, Couple's Choice.
Yep.
Let's hire him. But to go on and on about the honor and the privilege and the hard work your company did this year, and oh my God, I just can't believe they chose us. Look, they chose everybody. If you remember the site, you got one of these, unfortunately. So, but these Academy Award speeches, I don't want to laugh at anybody's pain, but it's like I'm cringing because I'm just like, oh no. And it got me thinking earlier today, and I made a Facebook post about this too, where, you could tell everybody how cool you are, but it's better if somebody else tells your story.
For sure.
So even to post this Couple's Choice Award and tell everybody how honored you are about it, I think there are better ways to go about this. Reviews, Sean. Client reviews. Do you know what I think still holds water and has meaning and people would pay attention to?
I have a theory. There's one.
A handwritten review that you scan and post on your website.
Okay. I hadn't thought old school.
Handwritten on a thank you card.
Yeah.
That has meaning and that has merit. An email means nothing. Anybody could write this crap.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How can you prove who wrote it? You could just have your mom do it or hire some friends to write some nice things about you. But I don't know. I don't know that people will go that far. I think to, do a handwritten, card handed to you, thanking you for what you did for them. I think that means something. A real testimonial, I think, is meaningful.
I was actually, as I've been thinking about this, I'm actually wondering if we are starting to get into the point in time where reviews, because of people getting a little more savvy with that, knowing that, okay, if I go to Amazon, if I'm seeing all 5-star reviews, I know that there's something up. And for those of you who don't know how some of these companies work on Amazon, is that if you start do some video reviews, these companies will send you the products out, or they will send you a voucher so you can buy the product, so you can be a verified purchaser of it in exchange for the review. I've got 2 shelves of gear over there of tools and different things that are sent out to me for this exact purpose. So these reviews, they're basically trying to buy a review. People are getting to the point now they're becoming suspicious of the reviews. I'm wondering though, Brian, if we're going to get to the point where the review isn't going to have as much as making that personal connection with the people, so that you're building that trust level, that they're going to start to see, okay, so I see he's got some reviews, whatever, but let me I got to meet Brian. I got to talk to Brian to find out if he is who he says he is. And I'm wondering if we're going to get back to that, or if the technology is just going to make that part just go away and we're going to just sit with this weird little...
Who knows? But, my big thing has always been, always been, and I've had to do it this way. It was this way as a young DJ, it's this way as an older DJ. My big thing is to go into every situation, every event, every client meeting with this in mind. Always this in mind. Under promise, over deliver. Mm-hmm. If I walk into a situation and they've seen 5-star reviews from all these people or whatever, they've got really high expectations to what I'm going to do. And it might even become a situation where there's something I can do to live up to these expectations, no matter what they might be, because they become very specific when they're expectations. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where that surprise, oh, wow, that's really cool. Ooh, wow, I can't believe you did that. That's a surprise. Maybe you didn't expect anything or not much, but then all of a sudden, boom, here's something really cool. That makes the client happy in the end. I don't know. Be it in a meeting or be it in the performance. I really do believe in the under promise, over deliver philosophy. And maybe I'm old school like that. I never embraced this online. I never embraced Yelp reviews. I never embraced Wedding Wire reviews or any other reviews. I never paid any attention to them. I don't care. Never meant anything to me. Nobody ever brought them up to me.
See, and I think where you are now, I think, is where, as I'm talking to some of the teenagers and such, they're not caring as much about the reviews as to a point, unless it's someone that they know and they're looking for more of that personal referral when it comes to someone buying something, or they'll take the chance on it. Well, it's a $5 thing. I'm just going to take a chance, even though the reviews are somewhat sketchy on it. I'm going to just do it.
Well, the whole review thing, the whole review phenomenon, now that everyone's a critic, is kind of a joke anyway. I mean, it's really becoming more of a joke when someone talks about a bad Yelp review. I mean, nobody pays attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, read a bad Yelp review. Find a bad Yelp review and read it, and just think about, you know, think about the way it's written, and then to make it even more fun, look at their other reviews and see if they had anything good to say about anything, and then see if they're neutral about anything. There are some people where things are really great or they really suck, and there's nothing in the middle. It's either great or complete shit.
Yeah, horrible.
There's not a lot of merit in this anymore. I don't believe.
Yeah,
and not that there ever was, as far as I'm concerned. But now I really do believe there's not a lot of merit in this stuff.
Just following the chat board here to see. So there was something said, so I was trying to figure that. Yeah, I think that's the biggest point that I was really kind of wanting to let people think or get out there, is that some are so fixated on I need to get all these reviews. I need to get these reviews on Wedding Wire. This, that, and the other thing is that, like you said, that handwritten note probably is going to carry much more weight as you can show that. I mean, I was meeting with a DJ who was going through and talking about how he does his client presentations, which is a whole issue. How do you get in front of a client? But in his little portfolio, yes, he had a portfolio that he opened up and showed. He had those handwritten notes.
Yeah, that's slick.
And the bride could look through that, and she'd never read those, but she could see.
No, but you can see.
And there's handwritten, and there were dates on them, so she could see that these were modern thank you cards, and they were written in a female handwriting, and it was different handwriting.
Different female handwriting each time.
So
you'd have your mom sit down and write you 12 of these things.
Yeah, and it was definitely a very, very impactful little portfolio he had. Now, on the flip side is that he had to meet with them, and he was one of the DJs that when he meets with them, he has a high closing rate, but it's getting them to the meeting, and that's a whole other area. Now, if he would have a website that he just copied and pasted the text on that, no one's going to give him the time of day. If he would have Yelp reviews or what have you, Wedding Wire reviews, yeah, maybe give a little bit, but most of the time people are looking at that like, yeah, who's going to say something bad about the DJ? No one's going to go in there and say something bad. So it's really, I don't think that they are that much, at least not to the point of getting all bent out of shape about, oh my God, I got to get everyone to write a review for me. Yeah, no. Over deliver and under promise.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, I'm going backwards on that, but yeah, you do things like that, and then people will speak for you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's a lot cooler when people can talk about you in real ways, and be sincere. I think the handwritten notes really nice. I have a collection of those. I've always kept them. I've got them going way back. And I have not, but I always had a plan to scan those and put them in like some kind of a collage or something on my website, just because that's like the real stuff,
And Bar mentions, of course, getting video evidence at your events, and that's actually something that a lot of couples that I've met with are asking for. Seeing some, can you get some video of you performing? And what they're not looking for the packed dance floor, which of course you're not going to show them an empty dance floor. They're basically wanting to see you on a microphone in front of people, speaking intelligently, and they can look at that and say, yeah, I can envision that person being at my wedding.
I have never had anybody say, hey, we want to hear you on the microphone.
Oh, really? I've
never had anybody say that to me.
Actually, what's interesting is the number of people who will find these shows, and they will hear us talking about something, and they're like, oh, yeah, you seem to be pretty well-spoken and are comfortable on a microphone. Okay, whatever works.
I've never had anybody. But the clients I have, I mean, and this is maybe going off onto something a little different, but they don't want to hear me talking a lot on the mic anyway. They want a few announcements made. Right. Hey, can you? That's the question I get. Do you make announcements? Absolutely, I make announcements. But they don't want to hear me talking all damn night.
Oh, for sure.
I tell them the same thing I tell the DJs when I do these videos. It's like I say what I have to say, and I say it as clear and concise as I can, and then I'm off the microphone. If there's not a reason to turn that microphone on and say something, I don't do it. And if I'm compelled to turn the microphone on, I think to myself, is what I have to say more important than the song I'm playing? If the answer is no, I take my hand off that mic button.
Sure.
That's just my style. Now, I was talking to Mark Farrell today. Mark's all about telling the story.
Yes.
And he's about giving this verbal presentation about the client or the couple or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that guy. You know what? We're gonna just let the fact that they're there speak for itself. And if anyone has anything to say about these people, I would rather it come from the best man or the maid of honor or the father or the mother. I'd rather hand them the microphone. It's going to mean more coming from them.
Certainly.
Because who the hell am I?
Yes.
Yeah,
there are times.
But that's my style. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, or someone else was wrong and I'm right or whatever. That's just how I do things. So because of that, I feel like those are the kind of clients I attract. Typically when people refer me to a client, it's not because I've got these, he speaks so well on the microphone. That's not why. Yeah, the guy can DJ. The guy can get the dance floor filled.
Right.
The guy is great. Play what we want. We had a wonderful time. It has nothing to do with what I say on a microphone. So I don't. That's just how it goes. And the weird part about it is when I take and if I were to be just completely honest about it in my head, when I hand this microphone to anybody in the wedding party, they do a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, aside from where they're holding it, as far as speaking, yeah, there's some ums in there or whatever, but everyone seems to do a pretty solid job with the microphone. Yeah, with a little bit of training, they do better, but they get their point across. Even amateurs are doing a pretty good job with this.
Certainly.
So if an amateur can handle it, why wouldn't they think I can handle it? It's just my experience with that. So if anybody wants to see any videos or anything, it's primarily about, am I a guy who's going to motivate their guests?
Sure.
Are people happy?
Bar mentioned that, of course, that's his biggest request is people wanting to see videos of his introductions. And for those of you on Facebook who aren't following Bar, I think one area that probably Bar has gold in his business is that he can do that introduction he's a bilingual DJ, so he can do that introduction for both a English-speaking audience and a Spanish-speaking audience, where that alone would probably be selling his shows to numerous people. I know.
Well, I've met Bar, and Bar is a youngin'. I know he's not a baby, but he looks like a baby. He's a really cute little guy. And I'm not trying to be condescending.
No.
What I'm saying is, you're a cool dude, man. But what I'm saying is that you might get a different challenge than I'm going to get. Look at me. I've got battle scars on my face. You can tell I've had a hard life. Look at me. Look at me. So they know I'm experienced. I've been around. What was that? Sensible Woman. I've been around. But I have. So those kind of questions are not going to be asked me. They're going to assume I know how to do that stuff. What they're questioning me about is, do I got the wobble?
Yeah. Can you play the new stuff?
That's not even new
enough
but,
stuff. Yeah.
Do you have Cardi B? Yeah, sure. Of course I do. It's my favorite song. Give me the frickin' deposit and get out of my face. No. But no, it's a different type of challenges that you get when you're young. People, and it's the same thing. Like, we've talked about this before. When you go into, or when I go into a Latin club and get behind the booth, I've got a couple dudes coming up to me going, "Oh man, I got CDs in my car, man." I'm like, "Thank you. Just give me 3 songs, and if you think I need those CDs after 3 songs, please bring them in to me." And of course I do it because they're challenging me based on my looks, being a white dude. And I can bring it and they're cool. And when I was young, it was kind of the same thing. Well, what does this kid know? Can this kid talk on a microphone? Can this kid play the music that we want to hear from the 1960s? Yeah, I can. But you get a bit of a different challenge, I think, when you're younger than when you're older. It's different things that they're wondering about whether or not you can pull off or not.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. And you just think about from our early years to where we are today, you definitely see. And I used to have a friend who was probably about 15 years older than me DJing. So when I was the 30-something, he was getting into the 40s and the 50. and he was talking about that concept of people coming and, do you know the new music? Do you know the new song from whoever? And of course he was very well versed in that area.
Right.
So it wasn't a big thing, but he talked about the real struggle of having an audience look at him before the event and pegging him for, well, this, Grandpa doesn't know his music.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just, I guess, something that's human nature. That's just what people do.
We're just judgmental bastards, is what you're saying.
Well, it's just, we make generalizations, which are generally true, but not rules. So, that's where it gets screwed up. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's different challenges for different people for different reasons. And people are prejudiced,
Mm-hmm.
What did Jimmy say in the room? Something about fat TJ discrimination. Jimmy knows the stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can be too fat, you can be too skinny, you can be too good looking, you can be too ugly, you could be too black, you could be too white. You never know what your client's thinking. But what you need to do is just kind of I feel, let them know who you are. That's it. And try to put any of their objections or their challenges at ease best you can. And if that means here's a video of me on the microphone, then that's what it is. But I've just never had anybody ask that. I mean, they know I can talk, right?
Yeah.
I can't shut up. I'm no Jay Brannon.
I was going to say you're not Pastor Jay, but.
Yeah, well, I'll be quiet now. You can say good stuff and kick me off now.
We're okay. We're okay.
Say it twice, though.
Yes, I will.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
That's what John says when he just wants you to go away.
It's time to shut up and we go.
That's John's cue for go away.
And last night to
I'm done
change
with you.
things
I'm
up,
done with this guy.
I brought my iPad out because I had a bunch of samples and I had an ending song that I could start. So we had like 90 seconds. And I picked out a really good song for us to use for tonight that was going to be that kind of ending and it would be kind of drifting on. We could make our announcements. And then I forgot my iPad in the house. Oh, I'm old and forgetful.
What was the song?
It was unlicensed or whatever. It was, it was something off Audio Drops. It was kind of a little.
If I didn't have my audio card engaged right now, I'd play the sad piano music we used during the benefit.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Remember the sad Sarah McLachlan, Save the Animals music I had?
Yeah, we could have. And then we could have talked really sincerely about the show being just about over.
Guys, was the show okay tonight? Did you have fun? Were we out of line? Were we funny? Were we serious? Were we ridiculous? What did you think of the show tonight?
Is it 1
Please
hour
let
of
us
your
know.
life you'll never get back? 'Cause, that happens.
Yeah, 57 minutes of your life you'll never get back.
Yeah.
And I apologize.
So we've got a couple more weeks, and then we have NAMM. So for those of you keeping track on your schedule, we have got. When are you heading out, Brian? Have you gotten your? Are you going to be?
No, I Brian and I are talking about it. We're trying to get coordinated here, but my plan is to be out there on the 23rd.
Okay.
ADJ typically has a sneak peek for all of the retailers on
24th.
On 24th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be there, and hopefully I'll get a sneak peek or two with some stuff I can sneak out on YouTube the morning of the 25th, so I can show you guys exclusives. That's my plan anyway. And then I'll be there all week.
Yeah.
And I think I'm coming home like the following Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'm going to kick it with some pals.
And have some fun in Cali.
Yeah, I'm in such a hurry to get home to this cold, wet crap. So
that's what it's going to be. So
just stay.
Thank you for being with us tonight on Facebook or YouTube. If we missed some things on the chat, for some reason the Facebook chat just is it like dogs down, and all of a sudden there's 10 posts that show up, and I can't follow that, and I apologize for that. So
you're getting old.
It's old, and it doesn't stream well. It streams well on all devices, but when we start streaming with up and down and back and forth, Facebook is the one that just kind of bogs down on my system for some reason. Who knows?
Well, Bar, if you're really cool, maybe you can join us for our annual Fire and Ice pilgrimage this year. Hopefully we have it. I don't think you've been on it yet, have you, John?
No, what is it?
Oh my God, Fire and Ice is my favorite restaurant in Anaheim. It's kind of in that mall thing.
Oh.
And it's kind of like a Mongolian barbecue, but to the next level. I love it. So you like pick your food out of the bar, and then they have the guys who cook it for you and flip it around and do all that stuff. It's pasta and fish and pork and beef and vegetables or whatever you want. They got special sauce on them. I just love the place. And there's a few of them in the country, but there's that one right there in Anaheim, and I never. I'm always really bummed out if I don't get to go to Fire and Ice during NAMM. So if you're around bar, you should come with us to Fire and Ice. I don't know what day we're going to do it, but it'd be fun to have you there.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Lori and I will be getting down there Wednesday early in the day so we can head out to ADJ later that afternoon.
Oh, Lori's coming?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Where you guys staying?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he's saying that because he doesn't want me to come and visit him.
No, I don't. We stayed at the Castle Inn last year, and I was thinking, it's not the greatest, but it's acceptable. And it was a decent walk. You came across the street, and you could get a taco if you wanted to, and then you went over.
See, NAMM is kind of like camping, isn't it?
Pretty much. It really, really is in many ways. And
yeah.
The problem
staying
is,
in hotels you would never stay in if you had the choice otherwise.
Yeah, there's and you just accepting that there's something growing in a corner over there. Well, don't put your bags there. We'll just
don't water it. Yeah.
We just won't look over there.
Don't upset it.
And yes, I do in my bag for NAMM. I have one of the little travel Lysols in there. I think actually now there's one in each of our bags now. And yes, we have used those in more than one occasion at some of these little sketchy hotels. Because I didn't book it in August like I should have. I waited until the end of September to book my hotel, and that put me.
Bar wants to know what the hotel is to stay at. Have you found a great hotel for NAMM? Because I have. I just don't stay there.
I haven't really. I've stayed in a different little travel things. The one we enjoyed the most was actually staying about 5 miles off, and we were at a Residence Inn, so we had basically like a whole apartment to ourselves. That was really kind of cool. Aside from that, I've stayed at like the Super 8s and different things such as that, because I just can't justify in my head paying $400 a night for a hotel room.
If you're willing to pay $400 a night for a hotel room, the place to stay is the Sheraton. Right there. Yeah. It's 50 paces from NAMM. There's a balcony, and most of the time I'm overlooking, I guess, California Adventure at Disneyland. So I'm watching the fireworks every night.
Yeah.
Great beds, comfortable. Internet is rock star. And there's a little shop down when you get off the elevator. And it's really a gift shop, but they're licensed to sell Starbucks coffee, and they make Frappuccinos. So you don't got to stand in the other Starbucks line.
Which is a long one over in.
That's the hotel to stay at, but that's not the hotel that I'm ever able to get into anymore. But that is definitely the property that you want to stay at if you're cool.
Yeah,
it's the bomb.
Yeah, I jump on Travelocity and see what you can find their bar. You'll be somewhere within walking distance for a person who can walk. But it's,
or there's always Uber.
There's Ubers, there's shuttles. It's just that getting vehicles moved around when in the middle of when people are checking in the morning or checking out, it's crazy.
The furthest you can stay away from the Anaheim Convention Center and Disneyland, the less expensive it's going to be for you. So if you can find some place where you're not going to get shot, and it is decent, and let's say it's a $10 Uber ride, then you're still ahead.
Yeah.
You're still ahead on the whole thing.
We stayed 1 year. It was on the other side of Disney, and it was almost a 2 mile walk. I didn't think it was going to be that far. And of course, Mr. Tight Butt here, I walked it each day. It was a beautiful walk. The weather was beautiful during that particular time.
Oh, we've done that too. I've done the walks, and it's so flat.
Yeah.
It's very hilly where I live. I mean, if I walk to the corner, I'm winded because I'm just going uphill. It's like on a treadmill on high.
Yeah, and
no, Anaheim is like, if you're not on a mountain in California, it is flat. Just flat.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to walk it. It's nice in that regard. And the weather should be pretty nice, hopefully.
It typically is.
A monsoon last year, but hopefully it's nice this year.
Yeah, I haven't had much rain, but it was last year. So, all right, we're gonna bounce, gang. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back again tomorrow night with our shows. Check it out on DJNTV. Good night, everybody.